Welcome, brothers. Welcome, sisters. Welcome to our program On Target. As usual, as soon as we start this program, you can pick up the telephone and give us a call. We never have a subject matter. We speak about anything. Politics, religion, socioeconomic issues, any issue trending, any topical issue of the day, we speak about it. And the power of this program is you. You have the opportunity to change what we speak about. You have the opportunity to introduce new topic. And you can call us. We take calls. We encourage all and sundry to participate in our program. And we encourage you to like and share our program too. It's a good thing for the program if you like and if you share it. Today, it reminds me of one of the individuals God raised from the dead. Jesus Christ in the land of Nain raised an individual from the dead. Christ, and the interesting thing, they were celebrating, they was in jubilation. And then they met these people. The woman lost her husband recently, and her only son, and the son that was supporting her, died too. So she was in mourning, she was sad, and she was in great pain. Just imagine today in our society, you lost your husband, a good man, and a short while after, you lost your only son. And imagine that you were a poor person, and that son was taking care of you. So Jesus Christ saw in great pain, and the people in the community, and he raised the son from the dead. Orphans and widows in these times was treated very, very badly. Even in today's society, when you are an orphan, your mother died in particular, you could be in real trouble. Sometimes you don't have anybody to take care of you if you don't have the intervention of your grandparents or the extended family. And more today, all women have one child. And they don't care about the extended family. So it could be a serious problem. Today in our society, we have the elderly, the people who live in homes. They are not rich people. They are very poor people. It doesn't matter what makes them poor, because we seem to be blaming Grenada less fortunate for being poor. We're chastising them for being poor. And we are doing everything to make the poor of the poor uncomfortable. Just so it was in the days 2,000 years ago. Orphans and widows were treated very badly. I encourage you on many occasions in my program to Google the orphans, the boys of Afghanistan. Google the boys of Afghanistan. And you might have some appreciation for what it is to be an orphan. Yes, caller, welcome.
Yeah, good afternoon, Mr.
Yes, my brother, welcome.
I want to focus on the issue of the low-income houses.
Go right ahead.
Mr. Pierre, the low-income houses is not a private postcode. It's a government housing unit. And there is people living there. Right? Yes, we're not saying they don't have to pay. They have to pay. Right? And I do believe before anyone come up, let people have a problem in paying. What the government should do, meet with the people, find out what is their problem that they are not able to pay. Right? And then when we have the meeting with them, I tell the reason why, what they say is true. You should negotiate with people and see what you could do to help them. Because when you look at the situation now, which the government should have an idea what is going on with the people, because some of the people there was working, they out of a job, right? And the out of a job, the cost of living, food so gone up, water bill gone up, light bill gone up, everything gone up, right? So they know when, and then we took out now the little calculator they were getting from the state, we took out 150 from it. So that is make it life much more difficult. But not only those who live in the housing, but we only focus on those who live in there, and they was paying. But once a man was paying, I don't say okay, you're constantly doing that and you have money in hand and you do pay. Right? The liquor that he has less now. So it become difficult for him to meet the demand. So the government should now negotiate with people, see what they could do, and give them a tax amnesty tax break. Right? Because they did it for the businessman, right? And the businessman could able to pay the money they collect from the government. And the government tell them take a tax break. The government even asking farmers for a haircut. So the government should reach out and do something to help them people. Because it's not easy when you live in a home, right? And if a private man show you, the private man show you, okay, it's bad. But when you have the government housing, the housing bills government, and people living there, and you get rid of them and put them people on the street, Mr. Pierre, this is a crime against humanity. Right? A crime against humanity. Because it doesn't matter the people don't want to pay. They want to pay. But then when you have food to buy, food stock, we have to pay more for food, I have to pay more for that. Right? You having less money in your possession. Okay? So then you should meet the people and find out what is the reason and try to help them. Instead of taking them out, you threaten them, you put them I don't know, out. I don't think that's the best solution. Government has to think first and use wisdom in dealing with it. Don't do things in an ad hoc manner. So if you have a better say.
Yes, scholar, and it is nice to appeal to the government, but we have to understand that based upon NDC policy, when they are in government, you always have higher unemployment. You're going to have lower productivity in schools. You're going to have more vagrancy. You're going to have increasing social problems because that is the NDC policy. Yes, scholar, welcome.
Yes, I'm calling from way over in America, sir.
Thank you and welcome.
Get to know the voice.
Yeah. Yes.
Did you recognize the voice, sir?
Kinda. Not certain yet.
You must recognize the voice. Anyway, I have one question. Then I'm gonna turn off and listen to you.
Okay.
You keep mentioning about number 10. Who is number 10 and what caused number 10 to jump ship? I'm gonna hang up and I'm gonna listen. Okay.
Yes, scholar. You see, when you're dealing with politics or policies or struggles, all over the world, there were struggles where people fighting they become the voice for the voiceless. In slavery, in civil strife, in politics, you have voices. And there's always individuals who take the easy route, who decide, I can't take this struggle. I can't take this tribulation. I can't continue to live frugal for these people. And they jump ship. Sometimes your opponents, those who you're fighting for, are constantly looking for people who they could attract with money and things to buy them. Remember, even Judas got 30 pieces of silver for Christ. Throughout history, you have these individuals. They're in a political party. They cannot advance reasons in terms of policy. I disagree with that political party policy. I have fundamental difference with them. I don't like their strategy. And for that reason, I'm leaving them. When you leave a party because it is believed you are paid, you are bought to leave a party, it's a serious problem. And when we introduce that in our politics in Grenada, well, in fact, it's the first time in Grenada that it seems on the ground there are clear indication that an individual was bought. It saddens the people's heart. Remember, some individuals shed tears in the name of the constituency. They cry in the name of the constituency. People believe in them. People defend them. People wrangle for them. And then you hear that these individuals were paid to drum the fence. It's hard. It's difficult. I see people in tears because they gave so much. They believe so much in individuals. And then these individuals drum the fence. And they drum the fence because of material things, because of money. In Grenada politics, if you're following it, there have been accusations that the National Democratic Congress is involved, is aware, and they contributed to paying $160,000 to buy politicians. Free trip away, free trip to America, free trip to England. The National Democratic Congress, people are accusing them for being very liberal with their traveling policy to help to shut the mouth up of people. These people only have numerical value. They are diminishing in quality. They abandon the struggle. And I believe giving them a number is enough. Yes, caller, welcome. Yeah. Yes, I believe giving them a number is enough. You know, Marcus Garvey had long struggles. Even our brother from Chubalura, Buzz Butler, spent 8 years in prison. These men went to jail for what they believe. Eric Matthew Gary in Grenada faced a serious amount of challenge, including the British sent 2 battleships in Grenada. Eric Gary was arrested, but he could have given up. He could have sold out the people. Gary could have sold out the people, but he did not. He stood up for the people. And Gary is a hero. He's a hero in the hearts of some people in Grenada. Some people will always see Gary as a villain, as an enemy, as the worst thing that passed in this country. But there's a lot of people in Grenada who always see him as a hero. Some of the deepest comment you hear from people, some people can't stand that, you know, is when the women say, make us wear nylon panty. You know, that song shocking. This one is deep. He make us wear nylon panty. Because after they got an increase in salary, from I think from 1 shilling to $1, they was able to buy nylon panty. Before that, they used to wear bamboo drawers. A lot of the grandparents of these ministers now, all of them is within the 40, 60, 65, 70. So the grandparents would have been some of the crowd that was following Eric Matthew Gary, that you would have heard us say, we used to wear bamboo drawers. Baby Bosco from St. James on the banks of the Ganga River, one of the women that stood fearless, they give it all. In those days, some women stood up. And when the estate didn't employ you, it wasn't easy to survive. You know? And this is a long history. So when individuals get involved in politics, I want to encourage those of you who go in politics. If you don't have a job, if you don't have a source of income, an additional source of income, if you're not prepared to live frugal, don't go into people politics. Most of the individuals in politics today, as far as I know, has never been in any organization that represent the ordinary man or seeking the interests of the ordinary man. So they jump on the political bandwagon because of money, because of prestige, because of position. As soon as they reach, they decide they cannot work for the money the previous government was working for. We are not going to work for the money the previous government is working for. Immediately on reaching there, they became very liberal in traveling. They use a strategy called advisory leads. And I think in agriculture alone, they had 10 or 12 persons as advisory leads in agriculture. Each ministry have advisory leads. And it was a means to provide income for some of their close supporters. I see this group of people as vultures. They turn against the elderly in our society, that they promise to give $650. To reinforce the promise, they quoted the World Bank. To strengthen the promise, they chastised the previous government for not increasing it. And these group of vultures, when they come in power, immediately they remove $150 from the elderly and the physically challenged. Even disadvantaged children was not spared the wrath of this group of vultures. And then they say they're going to pay the tuition for everybody in Grenada. And I do hope one of the journalists that have the opportunity to interact with the Minister of Education is going to ask him how much children in Grenada did he screw to get the money to pay for the tuition for those who could pay. How many children in Grenada did he disadvantage? It is easy for him to say, because the previous government was paying tuition and support for the children who did not have the ability to pay. This government decided to cut the social program for these children and pay tuition for everybody. And if you see Grenadian jump up, they say that is a good thing. Well, obviously, it's a good thing for members at the National Democratic Congress, the good people. But it's not a good thing for the people they call needy and greedy. It is not a good thing for the people they call nasty. It's not a good thing for the people they call classless. It is not a good thing for the disadvantaged young people in schools. They're going to still struggle with transportation. Their parents are unemployed. Some of them. Over 3,000 people lost their job since the government came into power, including 30 persons from Granby Estate. All the individuals who was getting part-time work with the road and etc., they're home now. Cocoa Jenna pie. The government is not providing assistance to them. But the government went more. They raised the price of sugar. So the people who are involved in the confectionery industry is suffering. They find that couldn't suffice. So the government decided to pass laws to make it more difficult in the short term and medium term for hairdressers and barbers. The government today is striking fear into the hearts of those who are struggling or reluctant to pay for the house on top of their head. Yes, caller, welcome.
Good afternoon, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, caller, welcome.
I remember the campaigning for the election, the NDC, I remember heard them mention that it wouldn't have no handout and it's going to have changes if they get into office. I did hear they say that. So people expect for changes to take place and it wouldn't have no handout.
Yes, scholar, and I agree with you. The NDC have always considered assistance program for the people in the lower income group as handout. So when the government decided to build 10,000 toilets, the NDC was in uproar. They say it's a handout. You see, color, that is why there is violence in countries in Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. That is why the people in the lower income group sometimes have to flex their muscles. That is why the slaves burned down the plantation. Color, that is why we had Sky Red in 1951. Eric Gary was asking for $1 a day. And then the plantocracy and the privilegencia said this little black boy is mad to give these illiterate people $1 a day. And instead of that, they had the most insulting language for Eric Gary. And when he was arrested, the workers rose and we had Sky Red. The British sent 2 battleships in Grenada. Gary succeeded. People felt better. And Gary built 28 schools in 13.5 years. Land for the Landless program. Independence for Grenada. Pre-education. So that little children, 2.5 years, could go to school. And after he built the school, children wasn't going to school. Because they used to beat you in school. They used to call the skin on your back hide. And if you had big nose, kinky hair, and thick lip, your back was made for the strap. 20 and 30 bull pistol in school was not uncommon. He built pre-education and technical education and introduced handicraft in schools and introduced St. George's University. And the privilegencia, the intelligentsia was kicking against it. Caller, if you in tongue long, you will know. The National Democratic Congress is enveloped with the same insulting slangs to people now. Classless. Again, they're saying it's handout. You know what is sad in all these? All the members of the National Democratic Congress, every one of them. I used to say some of them, but now I'm convinced all of them. Their great-grandparents used to wear bamboo drawers. It is not the white man, it is not the European that has turned against the people. The children of labor has turned against the children of labor. Caller, that is why Jesus Christ called to take care of the orphans and widows. That is why in the land of Nain, Christ raised this woman's son from the dead. She was a widow. A widow. Widow is the man. She was a widow. She husband dead recently. And the only son that she had was supporting her. Died too. Christ felt sad. He was compassionate and he raised his son from the dead. But we have a group of people now that is very insensitive. And they are led by individuals who are propagating hate on the radio for the last 10 years. Listen to the disrespectful ways. When they speak, listen to them. And listen to the manner in which they speak. When people wear national colors, they say they are clowns. The motivational speaker called them nasty people. He identified communities in Grenada as classless. And some Grenadians shut them up. Those who were walking around with morality and accountability around the neck as if it's a gallad, they hush them up. Even my brother Willie get radicalized. I've not heard anything from him. Never in my life in the history of Grenada, a political party is endorsing their mouthpiece to identify villages in Grenada as classless. As classless. The Prime Minister of Grenada did not disassociate himself from it. And I know this individual is paid, some say in the region of $1,000 an hour to go and do motivational classes. And even government and government influence organization pay him. Now this is what gives rise to revolution. Color. If you believe that the people, the NDC informed that when they come in power, no more handout, yes they did. So that is why 3,000 people out of jobs. They were getting handout. Marketing board closed down. They were getting handout. 30 workers in Grand Bay Estate home, they was getting handout. The women from Karakou, some of them working up to 19 years, they were getting handout. The workers that was working in the debushing program, well, I know NDC always attack the debushing program. Some of the political activists and senior members of the party was saying plan Kalaloo by the road. They wanted to bring bucket trucks. I don't know if that is the right word for it. What the electricity company and them use to fix the telephone wire and electricity, to pick mango. They offer all these things. They promise to suspend VAT for 1 year. What did they do? They put VAT on sugar. Yes, I know that whenever the NDC in power, there are some people in Grenada in donkey glory because they benefit immensely from an NDC government. I know that. And NDC does good things for them. But the majority of people in Grenada, particularly those whose income is under $3,000 a month, is disadvantaged. The children that was going to secondary school and was assisted by government is disadvantaged. Yes, caller, welcome.
Pierre. Good afternoon.
Yes, go right ahead, caller.
I have to mention this marketing board. So I am ashamed of the marketing board. They be marketing board. They live in marketing board 50. So Pierre.
Caller, you satisfied with what the government do with marketing board now?
Yes.
Caller, you satisfied? Are you satisfied with what the government do with marketing board?
Yes.
You satisfied? Then you don't have any problem, caller. If you satisfied, but what about you? What do you think about the people who lost their job as a result of the marketing board show?
They get paid for the job.
They got paid for it.
They get paid.
So they're home.
So they home.
And you satisfied with that, caller?
Well, if you're peaceful and you don't do nothing there, you only taking money, nothing coming in. Because the marketing board losing millions and millions.
So you see those workers that was thieving?
I don't know who
well, you can't say that. You can't say.
What happened to the $15 million?
But you can't say that.
What if we can do with it?
Well, caller, this government.
I don't know if you share it up. I don't know what we can do with the $15 million. $15 million.
What is the value of marketing board, caller?
The value of marketing board was $17 million.
Right.
But when you get $15 million from it, what you expect?
So you
They-
close, but the government now close down marketing board. You satisfied with that color?
Huh?
Once I've always said to you
But
that when the NDC in
why you
power,
see up now and people teaching all the thing?
color,
You make us sense today running, and people teaching everything in it. They say it $15 million gone, nobody. They're stupidness, man. And people should pay back for the money. You pay the money back. Because he allowed for 9 point something years. He leave them there, let the chief do all kind of thing. They should pay back the money to pay you have a good day.
yes, color. That's one of the challenges we have. The National Democratic Congress is in power for just about a year and a half. But any issue you address with the National Democratic Congress, the members go back to the previous government. Welcome, caller. Yes, caller, welcome. All right, we lost this caller. Try
Yes,
again.
I think it's good to listen to everybody, but I don't think the scholar does really.
Yeah, but we listen
Prepare
to
to-
everybody. And that is
It's good.
important.
It's very good. Very good.
Yeah, people make their
Yes,
point.
but-
I have listened. You see, when I listen to Deacon Mitchell, live for people in the country. When I listen to Dennis Cornwall, tell lies, and Andrew, and the ministers tell lies, this color is a joke. These individuals are the one in authority, and they lie to the public. And as a result of the lies, people lost jobs. People believe them. They went and vote for them.
Well,
And these people are the criminals, not the individual that calling me. The one who calls me is my friend. He expressing his views. The real criminals in the country is those who sit down and lie for the public. Yes, caller, go ahead.
I could remember in 1971, the late Sir Eric Martin told me, anytime a government interfere with the poor people of his country, costs go take them. And that's what he was very, very, very much scared of doing that. This is why he loved the poor so much. In Christmas time, we didn't have resources as now. But Sir Eric used to make sure he go around the country, line up his old people in a line by certain main business places with a paper bag with some grocery and a little change in their hand. He tell me, I ask him why he did. He say, I must deal with the poor. But if I don't like the poor, couple smoke with my people. He say, you have to treat the poor and vulnerable first class in this country, because there was the old heads what bring this place as it is. So he said, he used to tell me that. I could remember that. So right now we know we are. This present administration have no love for the poor people. So
They kick
I
in on them.
understand that.
They're making fun of them. Every time NDC come and employment rising, you have lower productivity in school, and right now you're going to have more vacancy.
Yes.
Yeah?
In 1971, the Land for the Landless program, someone has told me that it handbug on the country. I don't know what you have to say on that. The land for the land, because the land was not sufficient to upkeep the people. I don't know what your view on that. You will take on that.
Gary was a masterpiece, you know. And Gary was a visionary of no mean quality. When the Russian and them have the Bolshevik revolution, they take the land from the planters who had it and they give it to the government. In Cuba, they did the same thing. So most of the socialist countries, the countries that experimented with Marxism and socialism, they took the land from the landowners and they keep it for themselves. Gary took the land and he gave it to the landless. And that is why Africa fighting today because they don't have land. Yes, caller, welcome. Yes, caller, welcome. Caller, just try again. This is why Africa fighting today. We had estate crops. So if you segment the land, some of the crops that you're growing, you need quite a lot of land for it. But remember, slavery was abolished. One of the factors in abolishing slavery was because of the competition with cane sugar, with beet sugar. So if you notice throughout the Caribbean, agriculture is not as significant as it was before. Yes, caller, welcome. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre,
Go right ahead.
I listened to your show. You talk about the cost of living. Do you know how much you are one of the blue barrel in New York? $60. Cost of living in New York is high, just like in Grenada, my friend.
Of course, cost of living in New York is high, not just as Grenada. Cost of living in Grenada is high, not just as New York. Sometimes it is very difficult for our people in America because they pay rent. They're not fortunate as us in Grenada. For we parents, we might be living in our parents' land and not paying rent. And a lot of Americans are on the street because when they cannot pay the rent, they are thrown out on the street. In the same way, those people who living in the housing scheme, try all your best and see if you could pay all the rent because this government is going to throw you all out on the street. This government lack compassion. They're not sensitive. And they're hostile to people in the lower income group. Yes, caller, welcome.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yes, my brother, welcome.
Yeah.
Good to hear your voice.
Yeah, Mr. Pierre, say about how the government come in and they showed like 3,000 or 300 people out of the job. Now, do you know? Now, okay, now, that first now. Now, if the when NMP was in office, they get like 30, 40 something thousand votes. And they come back in office. These 30 or 40,000 vote people and them who vote for the NMP is all of them, the former Prime Minister use it to get work and all of them use it to get job.
So you saying the government right to father?
Well, who deserve to go home, they go home.
Well,
because if you don't qualify to do the job, because remember, Mr. Pierre, contract up a contract. So if they contract up now, if their duty is to go home. Now you have your place. Now if I buy your place, if I get to live, oh, Mr. Pedro, if I get to keep them inside, I keep them. But if I don't feel to keep them, that I might leave one or two old workers to bring in the new workers them to mix up with the old ones and them who was there. And if you so feel sorry, and if you have love for them.
Culture. I'm not taking issue the government for firing people, you know. I'm taking issue the government for lying for the people. The government lied to them. They told them they're going to make them permanent. That's a different culture. 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 The government told these workers, we're going to make you permanent. And then the government lied for them. Do you agree with the Prime Minister lying for these people?
Well, every Prime Minister lies. And even though whatever boy,
culture.
I will call back. Now, Mr. Pierre,
Culture.
you don't earn it.
Culture.
You don't earn it.
Culture.
Because who
Culture.
yeah.
Do you agree with the Prime Minister telling lies for the poor people?
Well, he didn't tell lies.
He said
because the former Prime Minister.
Culture are talking about Dick Mitchell. If you want to talk about Kit Mitchell, is all right. But I am speaking about Dick Mitchell. Dick Mitchell told lies to the Imani. He lied to the worker on contract. Do you agree with that?
Well, look how much workers who are get to job now.
Do you agree with that? Culture, remember. Do you agree?
They make their contract. No, I'm not singing for my food as some people are saying. I'm not calling you for
Culture.
to feed me.
Culture. Culture.
I am a happy man. I have my place. I have my land. I still have food to feed myself. So because I call the program to express myself. And when I hang up your program, anybody, any callers call and bash me, I will call back. Yeah, I'm listening now.
All right, caller. Thank you. Yeah, that is what is happening. You see, that is why I spoke about compassion. You have to empathize with people. You have to feel sorry for people. You have people in the community that is hurting. They lost their job. I know individuals, both parties lost their job. Very early in the game, I told you about the sister with the 5 children. She was pregnant. And her boyfriend lost his job, so he left and go for training in Trinidad. You know? She told me he sent a box for, but he had so much trouble going to the box in Port of Spain. So it's a challenge. So we have to be concerned about the caregivers, the Imanis. One girl said she's walking on ice because they won already. You know. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Bay, you saw what happened with some? Because what they used to get and enjoy it, they cannot get it again and to enjoy it. So they're swell-headed now.
So you don't want to...
For some of them now. Now, when the NNP was in office, now, I want to ask a question. If no women didn't used to get pregnant and be pregnant, so are this NDC party come in office now? Now, the lady or whatever said with 5 children, did she make she 5 children or this NDC come in office now?
Okay, I'll answer you off the air, caller.
Answer me question. You always want people...
But you doesn't answer me, caller. Culture man, you never answer me question. She only complained because her boyfriend lost his job. She lost hers. And her boyfriend lost his. And he know you all got kicks on him. He say he couldn't take it, you know. He tell her he can't take the talk from NDC. He can't take the talk from NDC. So he left the country and go. Because the National Democratic Congress promised to make him permanent. He was working for 4 years. They promised to make them permanent. So he believed. So I am saying, why should a party lie to the poor people in the country? And I take this strongly. I said before, I don't care if the government lie for the police. I don't care if they lie for teachers and senior public officers. But what the government do is sacrilege. They lie for the poor of the poor. They physically challenge the elderly and the Imani and workers on contract. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre?
Yes, caller, welcome.
Bragging about lie. Today, only today, I heard Mr. Cox lying on the radio station. He said that how the NDC government give tax break to the rich people. Mr. Pierre, there is a lie.
I didn't hear what you say. Let me hear what you say.
Mr. Cox said that the NDC government tax break to the rich people. Mr. Pierre, there are lies.
Caller. You pay you got a tax break?
Yes.
Did you benefit from the amnesty?
Well, there's a getting
Caller, did you benefit from the amnesty?
Yes.
You benefit
Yes,
from the
I know.
amnesty?
Yes.
Then
I
that means you're paying tax. It means you're in a better position than the people who are not paying tax. And NDC gave a tax break to the
to
people who
everybody,
paying tax.
every grade are paying tax.
No,
Every
caller, you
grade
don't. Caller, there are some things you don't understand. Caller, every Grenadian pay indirect tax. But if you're working for $3,000 or less, you're not paying more tax than a vagrant. You're not paying more tax than an unemployed person. You're not paying more tax than somebody on seed program. The template, the threshold is $3,000. So the tax amnesty was given to people who paying personal income tax, business tax, corporate tax. They didn't pay tax for the land. That is where the tax break come. Not the people on the seed program per se. Not disadvantaged children. Not physically challenged. Not the sister from Union that was crying that they threw out on the program. Not the women of Karakou. Not the 3,000 people who lost their job. So Mr. Cox is correct and right. Yes, caller, welcome. Caller, welcome.
Yes, Mr. Pierre, good afternoon.
Yeah, go right ahead.
There's a saying, never argue with a fool. Those who are listening would not know the difference.
But caller,
You,
there's a lot, caller. There's a lot of people in Grenada that don't understand the tax issue, the pension issue,
Yep.
the NIS issue. There's a lot of people in Grenada that don't understand it. So, and I listen
I realize that a long
so we have to provide information for them. We have to provide information. They don't understand it.
But you don't notice as much as you're telling that guy he doesn't listen.
Yeah, but he don't believe. He would not believe me because he listened to the story of Dick Mitchell, and Dick is lying. And the big hefe in our country is not holding the ministers accountable for blatantly lying.
But here's a guy, Mr. Pierre, who wouldn't be listening to Dickon because he doesn't have understanding. Whatever Dickon say, he doesn't even get it.
Caller, you're surprised.
Because if you had he been picking it up, you shouldn't have to be arguing with him. That's the point, you know.
Well, it's not a, okay.
But listen to that, Mr. Pierre. Two things. The gentleman who called and asked for you to explain who is number 10. You gave an intellectual explanation.
I gave a very practical explanation.
But just tell the man straightforward now.
No, what I told him,
the people on the NP side.
Caller,
Pierre,
all
Pierre
through history, we have these people. All through history, they sell out the group. Tilaita daughter, sell out. She angry with the mother because the mother go in jail for a blogger. And she believed that because she have master's degree and a big job, the mother too low class for her.
Mr. Pierre, just tell the man a simple explanation. There were 6 people on one side in the house.
I gave the man,
caller, 9 people on the other side.
Caller, I gave the man a story that he understands.
Yeah, no, I think the man will understand.
This is my story. He asked me a question and I gave him the answer. And he understands the answer.
Yes, I understand how you answer.
And you see the important thing.
Pierre,
go ahead.
Go ahead. Mr. Pierre, as much as you and others, for example, the column very concerned about the poor, that is generally true. Story that happened right in front of mother. Now, Gary's mother and my grandmother are second cousins, but they grew up more like sisters in this world. They were so close. Gary know my mother just like he know his sister, just like he know his mother. He know my grandmother. One day, I happened to have to meet Mr. Gary That's in a cabinet meeting. Where he asked me, who is my parent? When I said my mother name, who is Fredina Mitchell, he didn't call my mother name, He said, Noni. Noni is my grandmother. That's how we remember her. That's how I remember my mother, that's how I remember Noni. Because he grew up with my grandmother as a next mother of like his mother is. But listen to this. One day, that time he was senior, no, sorry, he was chief minister. He was chief minister at the time. My mother took me to visit the sister, Eric Magic Gary's sister. She used to live just after you pass Sam's in the Coco there. You might know that lady, I don't know. But she used to live there. And there was that lady crying to my mother, tears coming from her eyes, telling my mother that her brother doesn't care about her. And she was living in abject poverty inside in that piece of cocoa there. I witnessed that on my own. So as much as you will find all kind of fancy and nice story about Eric Matthew caring for people, this is a bad story to hear, if you understand what I'm saying. But it happened that his own sister was crying to my mother, who's like a sister to her, that they grew up together, crying to my mother that her brother, the premier, the chief minister of the country at the time, don't care about her.
Where Gary's sister was, Color, where Gary's sister was living?
Go ahead.
Where his sister was living?
She was living just after you pass Sam's Inn. Where the first Sam's Inn is? The fourth Sam's Inn. On the left hand side, going to Grenville, coming from St. Patrick's, going to Grenville.
Okay.
She used to live in the Coco just after you pass the flat building.
Okay, Color.
She used to live inside there.
Yeah.
Because that piece of land is Gary family land, as you might know. Sam's Inn and Gary are cousins.
Color.
And I'm telling you a factual story.
Color. I don't get involved in these technicalities. There's so much a different
there's no
views.
technicality here, but
There are a lot of different views on it.
For playing out people.
Because
there was this sister complaining, so you might get a different thing about people.
Okay. Well, when I speak on the radio, I encourage people to challenge the truth, These individuals are not challenging what I'm saying, They're going back to tell me what NNP did. NNP is not in government. The NDC is in government for a year and a half now. So when you say this is what happening, that the Prime Minister and his team is blatantly telling lies that causing people to lose their job, they're telling you what NNP did. They are not denying anything I said. They're not denying anything I said. The government disadvantage people, disadvantage children. The government take money from disadvantaged children. And they decide to pay tuition for everybody. But already, disadvantaged children was well supported under government social program. So all the government did was to pay tuition for those who could pay. It was applauded. Nobody can deny that. But I ask, how many children was screwed, was disadvantaged for the government to able to pay tuition for everybody? I don't have much faith in the Minister of Education. So you would hear me leaving him alone. Generally, I appeal to parents who have children in school. You could benefit from the behavior of this vulture government. You have to pay heed to your children in school. Our schools today is like a factory producing children that is not competitive on the job market. You find an insensitive government, a government that is hostile to people in the lower income group, a government that don't care. They kicks, they have fun on poor people. So you could have lower productivity among this group, higher unemployment, more vagrancy, more drug use, more antisocial behavior, and a greater number of failures in school. Now you, the parents, have to come in and pay attention to your child. From the time your child between 5 and maybe 13, 14 years, you would have lost the battle. When your daughter is 12 years old, any psychologist would tell you you would have already lost the battle after 12. And by the time the boy is 13, 14, you would have lost the battle. So you should ensure that in school your child do mathematics, biology, chemistry, physics, French, and Spanish. If your child is successful in these subjects, your child could be very competitive on the job market. You have a government that do not believe in second chance. 3,000 young people under the Imani program has been a taunt to the National Democratic Congress. They lie to these people, they fire them, they lie to them, and they fire them again. Nobody knows why. So some of these people I was able to salvage something after they leave school, the NDC is going after them. So I want to beg you, pay attention to your children in school. Don't leave it up to the school. The system in the school is a sifter, a strainer, a selection system where about 15 to 20% of the children is going to make it and 70% going to fail. And I'm back with you again tomorrow between 12 and 1 for another opportunity to punch. I may well start right where I stop, in the schoolhouse. Thank you.